Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, please give me a big thumbs up. In today's video, I thought I'd show you how I can bell peppers and onions. Having these on hand makes even shorter prep time for quesadillas, fajitas, and casseroles. Now, I've cut the peppers and onions and I've blanched them in boiling water for a couple of minutes and turned them off, and now I'm going to get set up and I'm going to fill the jars. I'm using the times given by the National Center for Home Food Preservation and the University of Georgia So Easy to Preserve book, and I'll leave links to both of those in the description below. Now, like I said, I cut my peppers and onions and I blanched them in hot water, and now I'm going to fill the jars to 1 inch of headspace. And we are hot processing today, so hot ingredients, hot canner, hot jars. We are pressure canning today, so I am using my Presto 23-quart pressure canner, and I've checked the gasket, the vent pipe, and the lock to make sure that they're all good, and I added a rack and 3 quarts of water, and I have it on low, just slow simmering while I fill jars. I got a deal on bell peppers, and I had a few onions that were getting up there in their shelf life, so I decided that I would just go ahead and make me some fajita vegetables or quesadilla vegetables or even stir-fry vegetables. They're great for all of that. So I actually use my chop wizard and I chop them up. Can get just a few more in there. Alright, and I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then I'm going to top them with hot liquid. Now, the salt is a taste preference. It's up to you, more or less, or none at all. And for the liquid, I am filling them with the water that I blanched them in. It tastes like bell peppers and onions already, and they were clean before I put them in, so there's nothing wrong with the water that I was using. Alright, so I filled that up to about 1 inch headspace. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to debubble them. And you want to make sure these are loose packed, and I don't know if you can see that. There are bubbles coming up. So you want to make sure that you do a really good job debubbling them. You don't want any air bubbles down in there. And then you can check your headspace again, and 1 inch is generally up to the bottom of this first little rib on the outside of your jar, visually. Now, my debubbler has a headspace gauge, so I can use that as well, and I am at 1 inch. Now, this is a very important step. You want to take a clean piece of paper towel, and I tear mine into small squares because I do 1 or 2 jars at a time. So you want to take a clean piece of paper towel, and I have a small bowl of vinegar, and you want to dip your paper towel in the vinegar, and you want to wipe your rims. Now, this serves 2 purposes. This gives you a chance to check your rim again for any nicks or imperfections that might interfere with the seal, and it cleans the rim to make sure that you do get a good seal. Now, we're pressure canning today, and for pressure canning it's no longer recommended that you simmer your lids. So we're going to put the lid on, and we're going to do finger tight, and it's just finger tight, and into the canner, and I'm going to finish jarring all of these up, and once I have that done I will bring you back. Alright, I have them all jarred up and the canner is loaded. Now, my canner has an arrow on the handle and on the lid, and you line those up and you give it a twist. We're going to turn this up on high and we're going to wait for the steam to start, and once that happens I'll bring you back. Right, I'm back, and as you can see there's a steady stream of pressure. Maybe you can see. Someone said put a pot holder behind it. I don't know if you can see that or not. We're venting a steady stream of pressure, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes, and I'm going to let it vent for 10 full minutes before we put the weight on. And once the timer's up, I'll bring you back. Alright, 10 minutes are up, so I'm going to put the regulator on, and I'm going to let it come up to pressure. The correct canning pressure is determined by your altitude, and I will have a link in the description below to a website to get the altitude for your address. For my altitude, it's 11 pounds if I can by dial, or it's 10 pounds weighted, which is what I'm canning today, is weighted. Now, once this is up to pressure and starting to jiggle, I'll turn the heat down a little to hold a steady pressure, and I'll set a timer, And once we're up to pressure and it's jiggling, and we'll be there pretty quickly because we're already up to 6, I will bring you right back. So we've come up to pressure and the regulator is jiggling, and I've turned my heat down to hold a steady pressure. The sweet spot on my stove is about medium low. I set a timer, and you always want to can for the longest time. I'm canning pints of peppers and onions, so peppers are 35 minutes, onions are 40 minutes. So I've set a timer for 40 minutes, and when the timer goes off, I will turn off the heat and I'll leave it to cool down for a little while. Now, once the pressure is out, the safety lock right here, what we sometimes refer to as the button, the safety lock will drop, and you'll know that it's okay to open the canner and remove the weight. And once these have done their 40 minutes and the pressure has come down and the lock has dropped, I will bring you back. Okay, we've come up to pressure and we've pressured for 40 minutes and turned the heat off and let the pressure come down, and now you can see that the button has dropped, the lock has dropped. So I'm going to wait 10 minutes and then I'm going to open up the canner. Okay, we pressured for 40 minutes, we let the pressure come down, the lock dropped, and then I waited about 10 minutes. So now I'm going to take the weight off, the regulator off, and I'm going to open the canner. Now when you do this, you want to remember, it is still very, very hot inside this canner. You always want to remember to open away slowly. I'm going to set that to the side. And pull these out. Now you want to lift straight up. There is the urge, there's water on top, so there's an urge to tip them to get that water off. You want to lift them straight out of the canner. And you want to sit them on a cushioned surface. You don't want to take hot jars out of your canner and set them directly on a cold counter. That can cause temperature shock. Right, and let me bring this over so you can see. Now they come to the top when you can them, and they will disperse a bit once they have cooled down. But there you have it. Bell peppers and onions. Ready for fajitas. Now I will leave these sitting for about 24 hours. Sometime tomorrow afternoon I will come back and I will take all of the rings off and I will check the seals and I will wash the jars. Doesn't look like I had any siphoning, but I will still wash the jars and I'll label everything and I'll put it away in the pantry. Beautiful, just bubbling away. And we have a snap. For the next few hours, we'll continue to hear the lids seal. They make the snapping, pinging sound. I have a couple that look like they are just about to seal. So beautiful. There you have it, peppers and onions ready for storage. Tomorrow I'll come back, take the rings off, inspect the seals, wash the jars, label them, and put them into the pantry. In the meantime, for the next couple of hours, I will be hearing the beautiful sound of seals pinging. I hope that you enjoyed the video today, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and honestly, I hope that you'll join me on my canning adventures. If you enjoy canning and Southern cooking, please subscribe and hit the bell, and you'll be notified when I post new videos. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Feel free to leave a comment below, and if you have a question, I'll try to answer it or help you find a resource that you can get an answer from. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a wonderful rest of your day.